Local response is one thing. The federal response is another. For more on that, let's bring in Nicole Sganga. She joins us. Nicole is our Homeland Security and Justice reporter. There's a federal component to responding to storms. What is FEMA doing and saying?
Yeah, and really, Scott, in the weeks and days ahead of this storm, there's a mosaic, right, of federal, state, and local resources that come together. Now, when it comes to the federal response, there are right now 1,300 federal response workers that are in place in Florida, including more than 800 FEMA personnel, many personnel staged in places like Tallahassee, Miami, out of the way of the majority of the storm surge, Atlanta. That includes mobile emergency response teams. FEMA has preset 3.7 million meals and 3.5 million liters of water. The U.S. Coast Guard also has assets ready to go. 17 helicopters, 14 fixed-wing aircrafts, and 18 small boats to be used for maritime rescues. CBP, in addition, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol is also staging right now in Opa-locka, as well as Homestead. And keep in mind that the Department of Homeland Security, which so many associate with immigration, law enforcement, immigration enforcement activities, those are suspended for right now as the rescue mission carries out. In addition, power is a really big concern among federal officials. And so FEMA has also pre-staged 169 generators and more than 110,000 gallons of fuel ahead of this storm's landfall.
It's a lot there. Let me button up one thing you mentioned. They're ceasing some of the immigration enforcement they do, but just in the hurricane zone.
Just in the areas impacted by the hurricane. And you will see officials that typically do that law enforcement action, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, ICE, carrying out rescue missions along with the U.S. Coast Guard. And in fact, we have seen as most recently as today, migrants trying to make landfall in the Florida Keys. There is one rescue mission underway. For example, right now, outside of the Florida Keys, they are looking for 23 migrants from Cuba. Only 4 made it to shore from that vessel.
As Chris reported, each of these storms has its own eccentricities and peculiarities. This one has size, it has force, it also has a slow speed, which leaves it over areas for an extended period of time. What are the federal authorities most concerned about?
Yeah, so there's a lot that's different about this storm. There's a lot that is exactly the same. And in this case, federal authorities are very concerned about water. Today, we heard Administrator Criswell say water is dangerous, period. And that is the coastal storm surge. And we could see it up to 18 feet, all the way to inland flooding that will continue on in the coming days. Water is the #1 killer during, a hurricane or tropical storm. The National Weather Service says it accounts for about 90% of fatalities. For those in Southwest Florida who have chosen not to evacuate, officials are now saying it's time to hunker down, basically stay on the floor that is going to be least impacted by some of those flood waters. Gather emergency supplies around you, things like a flashlight, bottled water. FEMA and Florida officials, including Governor Ron DeSantis and Administrator Criswell, also very concerned about older populations. We know that Florida has a tremendous number of senior citizens. I want you to take a listen to what Administrator Criswell said today about that.
30% of the population is over the age of 60 in many of these impacted areas. We know that that's going to be a significant concern. When I talked to Governor DeSantis on Friday and asked him what his concerns were, that was one of his concerns. I think that's why we've put in place this really robust search and rescue capability across the federal government to complement the amazing efforts that the state already has in place through their own urban search and rescue teams and the National Guard, because we know we're going to have to get out there and check and make sure that everybody is okay.
And Scott, a lot of us remember in Hurricane Harvey, those haunting images out of the nursing home in Dickinson, Texas, with elderly waist deep in water. Ahead of this storm's landfall, Florida officials made more than 120 site visits to senior living centers and nursing homes in order to check on generators. They say that now each and every one of those facilities does have a generator where it did not before.
Did they make any warnings about the days to come or what they expect later this week.
And just because you're out of a storm path doesn't mean that you're out of the woods. And so some of the concerns for those in Southwest Florida, even after this storm moves through, of course, power, several hundred generators and pumps in addition to debris removal equipment have been pre-placed in places like Georgia, Alabama. So they'll move in after the storm. Also concerns about, of course, severe flooding, down trees, power lines. Here's one important message that officials say. If you are operating a mobile generator, if you don't know how to use it, ask, follow the instructions very carefully, and make sure that it is in a well-ventilated area, far away from any enclosed spaces in your house. Of course, when Hurricane Laura hit back in 2020, actually it was generators and misuse of generators that were the #1 killer during that storm. Beyond that, this system is expected to keep moving. It's going to be moving into Georgia, into South Carolina. So we heard from Administrator Criswell saying that she talked to the governors from those states this week. And, it's very important that we sort of keep track of the storm as it progresses, because we could see heavy rain, gusty winds, coastal flooding in some of these areas. The National Weather Service director actually had his phone at the podium with him, because that is how quickly this storm is changing. So, the #1 piece of advice there that federal officials gave to those in the storm's path is keep track of what local officials are telling you. Keep track of those evacuation orders so you can make sure that you can get to the safest place as the storm progresses up the East Coast.
Glad you mentioned generators. Already hundreds of thousands of power outages. There will be millions likely in the next day or two. All right, Nicole Sganga, thank you so much. Stand by.